If you saw mine and Harry's what we're looking forward to in 2024 video, you'll know that one of the movies on my list was Lisa Frankenstein. It's kind of I saw the trailer like I think end of last year, and it just really appealed to me. Honestly, I thought, yeah, that looks like fun. So sure enough, so me and my wife went to go and check it out. It's kind of because we didn't get it in the UK until like March, so I think in the US and stuff, I think it came out on Valentine's Day. So it's kind of a belated Valentine's Day, like kind of cinema date that we had. And yeah, so we're going to talk about it. So just a quick heads up for you guys, there are going to be spoilers in this review. I'll generally with my reviews, I can't really be bothered to do like a non-spoiler and then a spoiler version like some people do. I ain't got the time for that. So yeah, so I tend to just do everything as like a one jobby affair. So yeah, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, maybe go check it out first. If you have seen the movie, then just get yourself comfy, because you know this is going to be fun. So this movie essentially is about a young girl, teenager, who witnesses her mum get horrifically and brutally murdered by like a kind of a home invader, and naturally, you know, that would fuck you up. You know, that's not definitely not a memory you know or something or a sight you want to see. So obviously, you know, so she's a little bit unhinged, I guess is the polite way to say it. And, you know, as you would expect. And so she basically, her dad remarries very quickly. And she's kind of living with, obviously, her new stepmom and stepsister. And her stepsister's, you know, to be fair, she's really nice to her. And, you know, she's obviously understands all the trauma that she went through. And she's trying to kind of make her life as normal as possible. You know, her sister's quite popular. And so, she, you know, she kind of takes her to parties with her. And that's where the movie begins. And so it's basically just you know, kind of very much that kind of surviving in high school kind of movie. But basically, like in her kind of downtime, she tends this grave for this young man who died in like the Victorian times. He's been there like 150 years, and she kind of tends his grave and looks after it. And then one night there's a storm, and his grave gets struck by lightning and brings him back to life. And the last time that she was with him, like at his grave, she says, "I wish I could be with you." Basically meaning, you know, I wish I was dead because, you know, I don't really have a place here anymore. I don't fit in anywhere, and you know, my mum's dead. So yeah, life is pretty shit. But he took that to mean I want to be with you romantically. So when he comes back to life, he's reanimated. He makes a beeline straight for her, and a whole lot of hilarity ensues. And he ends up basically living in her wardrobe for a little while. Then he kills her stepmom because she's a massive bitch, and yeah, then they just kind of go on this little murderous rampage together, and she starts like sewing the body parts of the victims kind of onto him, because obviously, you know, like his ears and stuff don't work originally, so obviously, you know, because he's obviously been dead for so long, and so yeah, so she kind of sews her stepmother's ears onto him, and then because he's missing a hand as well, so this is like kind of really creepy guy at the start of the movie that, you know, tries to take advantage of her when she's drunk. So she kills him and cuts his hand off. And of course, what would any self-respecting 80s teen high school comedy movie be without some guy that, you know, the main character fancies, you know, some popular guy. And basically it turns out he's actually with her stepsister. So yeah, so she kind of, you know, Lisa's already pretty mental by this point, and pretty, you know, blood drunk. So she, you know, kind of snaps. But before she can do anything about it, the creature comes in and cuts his dick off. And so she sews it on the creature because, as you know, as you'd expect after 150 years, his ain't working so good. So they end up together, but with the police and everyone closing in on him, obviously there's no escape. So she decides to kill herself in this tanning bed. She, you know, they whack it up to 11. And then bang, she dies, and there's like a big fire, and then the end of the movie is her dad and her stepsister, who's, you know, now equally traumatized herself after witnessing her boyfriend get his dick cut off. They kind of go to her grave, and there's a bit of like a Carrie thing there, you know, where they kind of mourn the grave and stuff. But then the very end of the movie, it turns out that she's actually not dead. She's actually been brought back to life as well, and then. So her and the creature, they're now very much just, you know, like that kind of Frankenstein and, you know, Frankenstein's monster and the Bride of Frankenstein. She's got that very, you know, she's even got the kind of the beehive hairdo and stuff as well. And that's how it ends. So with this review, I want to do something a little bit different in terms of the format of it. I'm going to kind of go through like the kind of positive things, the things I liked about the movie, the mixed stuff, which, kind of hit or miss, and then the negative stuff, and then my score at the end. So with that being said, on to the good stuff. So this is all the positives, the things I liked about the movie. I really loved the tone overall. It was very Tim Burton to me, which, I love Tim Burton movies. This was definitely giving me kind of Beetlejuice and like Edward Scissorhands vibes. So if you like that kind of like early, kind of like 80s Tim Burton stuff, style, or early 90s, yeah, you'll definitely get a kick out of this movie. Obviously I like, kind of high school teen kind of comedy drama things as well. So for me, this was just a cool little crossover of genres and a little mishmash of different things, which I personally felt worked really well. I also really like the soundtrack in this movie. As you'd expect, there's some great 80s tunes in there as well, and even like a little kind of almost like a musical kind of sequence, like between Cole Sprouse and Catherine Newton as well, because he's like this masterful pianist from back in the day. So that was cool. And then, as I say, yeah, this movie was also directed by Zelda Williams, who's of course the daughter of Robin Williams. So I think she's put out a few movies already. So this is the first one of hers that I saw, and I thought she did an excellent job with directing it. Also in our best of all the kind of things we're looking forward to in 2024 video, I mentioned about Catherine Newton, how like I've seen her in a few things and just hasn't really done it for me yet as an actress. Like I've always found her to be kind of wooden and basically kind of just unlikable, and I don't know, there's just something about her that doesn't really work for me in the roles I've seen her in so far. But I'm happy to say that in this movie, I really enjoyed her character. The fact that she's this kind of just like socially awkward, zany, kind of random girl, a lot of the time. It worked for me in this movie. I thought she was really good. This is definitely the best role I've seen her in, and I'm really pleased about that, because you get kind of a 3-strike rule with me, and I was fully prepared to. I was going into this, I was like, if she's not good in this, then I'm just not going to like her in anything she's in. But yeah, she was really good in this, and a lot of the the best humor in the movie comes from her. And yeah, I don't know, it's just the character in general, kind of again with that tone of the movie. It's just kind of zany, wacky, kind of random nonsense, really. But it's it's just it makes sense, if it makes sense. Cole Sprouse, like an actor that I've kind of always watched back from when I was a kid. Like obviously Zack and Cody, or like the best Adam Sandler film in my opinion, Big Daddy. He was in that, and obviously Riverdale as well. I watched up till series 2. After that, it's fucking terrible, but that's another video for another time. So he plays the creature, and I thought he was great in this movie. Doesn't get a lot to say, but that's kind of a testament to him as an actor. He does a lot of kind of acting with his eyes and his facial expressions and stuff, and I thought he was great. He does get like I think one line at the very end of the film, where he's basically reading like poems and stuff to Lisa, and yeah, that's basically all I have to say about him. There's some really great like supporting cast members in this as well. Carla Gugino plays her stepmom, and like she's just amazing in everything she's in. She's always a kind of a standout character in things for me. And yeah, she was, her role in this is pretty brief. She's in like a kind of the first act of the movie, the first third of it, like it's very much, she's very prominent in that. And yeah, she just, plays a total bitch basically. You've also got so if you're a Stranger Things fan like me, Mike's dad is in this, and he basically plays the same character, like a totally fucking useless, just idiot that just totally oblivious to everything as well. Although he does have a few more lines in this, admittedly, and he does seem to actually care about his daughter in this. Like in Stranger Things, obviously just couldn't seem to give a shit less about where his kids are most of the time. But yeah, he actually does have a few moments in this movie. And then they say, and then a lot of the cast, it's kind of a younger cast. I'll be honest, I haven't seen him in anything else. But I thought everyone was really good in it. And I think her stepsister. I might be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure her stepsister. I think like that's the actress's first like kind of movie. I think it's like her first big role. So yeah, so I thought she was great. Okay, so now moving on to the mixed aspects of the movie. For me, this was just a comedy. Obviously, it's very subjective. You know, it's a comedy. It's a difficult thing to get right because you're never gonna kind of appeal to everyone. Everyone's got different senses of humor, I should say. So for me, like a lot of the jokes didn't really land. You know, I'd say I probably smiled like at a lot of them. I didn't really laugh, or you know. So in that aspect, yeah, the jokes, yeah, they were fine, but it was kind of just cliche stuff that we've all heard before. So yeah, nothing new there. And then finally moving on to the negatives in this movie, like kind of, you know, a lot of other movies that come out in this kind of style, it's all very convenient. You know, this movie is totally, you know, I guess it kind of plays into that wacky zaniness. So it's not really obviously supposed to be like a serious thing, but it's just, you know, things that like the second that Cole Sprouse like gets into a car, he can immediately drive it fine, despite the fact he's been dead for 150 years. Also, why is he still like in body's fairly intact as well? You know, why is he not like decomposed a lot more, and why is he not even like a skeleton, you know, after being dead for so long? There's just a lot of little things like that in there that to me, I kind of, you know, you kind of scratch your head, and I don't know, it's just a bit silly, if I'm honest. I'm starting to think everything about this movie is just one big joke. Also, it's kind of predictable as well. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I could kind of see it, you know, coming a mile off that her sister was banging the guy that she fancied. So yeah. All right. So with that done, so the scores are now in. The judges have all conferred with each other, and I'm now being passed the envelope here to give you my humble opinion. So Lisa Frankenstein is a really fun time if you just want to watch a kind of just a fun little zany kind of horror movie. You know, some great like slasher elements in there, some good kills, and yeah, it's just a fun little kind of throwback to 80s movies in general, but specifically like 80s Tim Burton movies. As I say, Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands are definitely, you know, it's kind of another one of those kind of movies. So yeah, totally. So if you like things like that, I think you'll really like this. As I say, the comedy, you know, it is what it is. You know, it doesn't always land for me personally, but that's not to say that you might feel differently. And yeah, it's just it's just really good if you can kind of look beyond the kind of the, as I say, the convenience of a lot of the, you know, the plot devices in this movie, like, you know, things that the characters do and say that are all just to kind of get onto the next scene. Then yeah, I think you'll have a good time with this. So all in all, I'm going to give Lisa Frankenstein a score of 3.5 Lisas out of 5. Alright guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know in the comments, obviously, if you've seen the movie, like, you know, did you like Lisa Frankenstein? What did you think? And also, you know, if there's any other kind of similar movies out there that you think I would enjoy, then please let me know, because I'd love to check them out and review them as well. Believe it or not, this channel was going to be like more of a horror kind of channel, and you know, as I'm trying to get more into that kind of realm, because I'm a huge horror fan. I know this isn't like really a horror film, but it's like a horror comedy. So yeah, so as I said, definitely going to be doing more horror stuff on the channel. So if you like, you know, like things a little bit spooky, then definitely stick around, because you know, I've got you covered, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, like the video, subscribe, have a wonderful rest of your day guys, and take care.